There was a time when the sacred was everywhere, when God wasn't just believed in, he was central. Central to families, communities, nations. But today, the sacred is mocked, faith is fading, and in its place, new idols have risen. Technology, science, politics, and self. This is the Truth Pursuit. I'm Veritas Knox. Today we ask, has the sacred been erased or replaced? In our last religion episode, we laid out the statistics, the collapse of faith in America. But let's remind ourselves the scale of it. In the 1950s, over 90% of Americans identified as Christian. By 2021, that number had dropped to just 63%. The exact breakdowns don't need repeating. The direction is undeniable. Faith has collapsed. Christianity has been pushed to the margins. And when something that once anchored families, communities, and even nations disappear, something else always rises to take its place. When faith disappears, worship doesn't. People still worship. They just choose different gods. For some, it's technology. Silicon Valley prophets promising eternal life through AI, uploading our minds into machines, transcendence without God. For others, it's politics, complete with its own creeds, rituals, and high priests. People chant slogans like prayers, march in parades like processions, and bow to ideology as if it were divine truth. But for many, it's the self, the gospel of self-love, self-worship, self above all else. These aren't just habits, they're new religions. They give people a sense of belonging, a cause, a higher purpose, without ever calling it faith. But what they don't give is transcendence. They don't heal the soul. They don't save. The evidence isn't hidden, it's carved into the bones of our culture. When faith declined, families fractured. In the 1950s, divorce threatened 1 in 7 marriages. Today, it threatens nearly 50%. And as church attendance fell, the streets grew darker. Through the 1960s and 70s, violent crimes surged to levels the nation had never seen, rising at the very moment belief began to erode. But the deepest wound wasn't crime. It was isolation. Without faith binding neighbor to neighbor, communities unraveled. People found themselves surrounded by screens and strangers, yet starving for real connection. Faith was the anchor, and when it slipped, the storm carried us away. But here's the question no one asks. If the sacred is gone, why do we still feel the ache for it? Because deep down we know humans are wired to seek transcendence, to believe in something greater than ourselves. And when faith disappears, we don't stop searching. We just settle for substitutes. Empty ones. That's why people chase endless consumerism, or fall into cults of politics, or scroll their lives away in glowing digital cathedrals. But here's the twist. History has a rhythm. Faith declines, but then faith returns. In recent years, something unexpected has been happening. Christianity, once written off as dying in the West, is showing signs of resurgence. Churches are reporting spikes in attendance across the country. Young people, the very generation labeled as post-Christian, are showing up in revival services, prayer nights, and campus ministries. According to Christianity Today, the Ashbury revival of 2023 was just the beginning. Tens of thousands gathered for days of prayers and worship, many of them Gen Z. Since then, smaller awakenings have sparked on campuses in Kentucky, Texas, and even California. Barna research shows that while overall church membership is still low, church attendance in the younger demographic has ticked upward, with 39% of millennials reporting attending church weekly, up from 21% in 2019. It's as if the hollow promises of ideology, technology, and self-worship left a vacuum, and now people are turning back to the faith their grandparents once held. Christianity isn't dead, it's stirring. So maybe the sacred never truly dies. Maybe it only waits, buried under idols, under distractions, under counterfeit truths, until a new generation hungers for something real. The death of the sacred wasn't the end, it was the warning. The reminder that when you strip God away, society doesn't thrive, it decays. But it also creates the ache, the hunger, the longing that only faith can fill. And now, that hunger is resurfacing. You've been listening to The Truth Pursuit. I'm Veritas Knox. Stay awake, stay watchful, and remember, the truth isn't lost, it's waiting. Will you pursue it?